the number one issue that we've run into in the latest wage hour audits is something that I don't think any of you, if I didn't put this slide up first and I said, tell me what the number one issue is, you're not going to tell me it's tracking lunch breaks. And that's why the feds are catching businesses like yours on it, because it's not front and center. Y'all know a guy works until 6 o'clock, he's supposed to go home at 4. Yep, there's 2 hours. But very few businesses are focused on tracking lunch breaks. Here's the rule, and it's real straightforward. 4 clicks on your time tracking system. In the morning, out at lunch, back from lunch, out at the end of the day. 4 clicks every single workday. If you do that, you will pretty much stay out of trouble. But an awful lot of businesses say, you know what, we all work 8 to 4, and we all take a half hour for lunch. Great. Till the federal government comes in and says, show us your time records, and then they interview a few employees, and a couple of them are disgruntled. Did you ever work through lunch? Oh yeah, we worked through lunch last Tuesday. Did you get paid for that? Well, no, we all took off, that's how we do our time system. Everybody gets docked a half hour for lunch. You might get by one audit, but you won't get by a second audit. The feds usually come back a year or 2 later if they catch you on the first one. So, but they're finding people, basically finding people who miss this. This is extremely important. Folks with electronic time records, which most of us are using today, we're paying people very accurately, but without punching in and out for lunch, it is not accurate, and you're going to get flagged for it. And this has been the number one costly exposure. It's not an enormous amount of money, but depending on the number of employees you have, if you've got 20 employees, 15 in the shop, and those 15 employees all get awarded lunchtime money, the total amount of money could be significant. And usually they use a 2-year look-back period. So you figure if you can't prove that they got paid for lunch or they took off for lunch over the last 2 years, then you do run the risk of being assessed some damages. So it's important to do this. Some of the employees find this irritating to do. One of the questions I get from companies like yours is, what about field employees? Field employees need to come in and they need to put in an accurate timesheet every day. So when they come back into the shop with the truck at the end of the day, have them write down their hours, and if they took off and went to the Sonic or the Wendy's at lunchtime, that's fine. They can do it at the end of the day, but it needs to be recorded, preferably every single day. And I like, if you're doing manual time cards or you're doing manual time cards with your field people, get them to sign it at the end of the week. Just have them, just sign the things, put them in a drawer, keep them for 2-3 years. I promise you folks, you may never need them, but if you do, you're going to be really, really happy that you have them, because employees have bad memories, and they say, no, I didn't get paid there, no, I didn't take off for lunch. And it's the investigator, by the way, it's the opposite of the infamous innocent till proven guilty. As employers, it is our responsibility to prove the hours that the employee worked. It is not the responsibility of the employee to prove they worked through lunch. It's our responsibility to prove that they didn't work through lunch. So that's why these time records are so awfully critical today. And again, the feds are taking full advantage of our electronic time records because they're so accurate. It's like they go in and say, well, here's Billy Bob, and Billy Bob doesn't have any lunch punches, so he must have worked through every lunch. We all know he didn't work through lunch. He didn't work through lunch. But they're going to tell you to pay him for lunch for the last 2 years. So this is really serious operation. Again, not huge dollars on an individual employee basis, but you multiply this out, and I'll tell you one other issue in a moment. But it's the other piece about lunch is, if you have a receptionist or somebody minding the phone, if they answer the phone while they're supposed to be on their half-hour lunch break, they are not on a lunch break. So you need to have double coverage, or you need to have an answering system and tell the employee, hey, from 12 to 12:30, You go in the back and you eat your lunch. You do not answer the phone. You do not answer the front desk. If you can't do that, it's safer to pay that person through lunch. Let them eat lunch at the front desk or whatever you do. But this is something that is caught a lot on these, because they'll ask the follow-up question, were you completely off? And we had a restaurant that got flagged where in the middle of the afternoon everybody took off, but a couple of the gals still would answer the phone, and if somebody wandered in for a takeout order, they'd go up and take care of them. They were not completely off work, and therefore they qualified for overtime for those time periods. And again, it was quite a few lunch hours that the feds clicked them on. Let's see. Quick breaks. This has been less of a controversy, as the majority of Americans were down to 14% of the adult population smoke, and many of them are under restricted circumstances. Most of us do not permit smoking in our workplaces today. People have to go outside and stuff like that. So it's a problem that's getting better, but a short break to go to the bathroom cannot be docked. So the only thing you can dock is a half hour, and you have to document that half hour.